everyone and welcome back. A big thank you to everybody who has subscribed. If you have not subscribed, please do so that you will get a notification each time I upload a new video. I am sure you have read in newspapers or have come into contact with people who have lost their jobs, and in today's video I am going to share with you my experience of the time I lost a job. There are two common ways where you can find yourself without a job. The first one is through dismissal. Dismissals normally happen when you have done something that is against the company's protocols, or if you have committed crimes like fraudulently obtaining money from the company, theft, and other issues that the company feels you are no longer worthy to be employed by them. And the second one is through redundancy. Redundancy is when you are laid off from your job because your employer wants to reduce the workforce. Alternatively, it may be because of new technology or a new system that has made your job unnecessary. You can also be made redundant if the job you are hired for no longer exists. I was made redundant by my employer, and this came as a big surprise to me. There were many things that were going on in my life when I was declared redundant. Before I was declared redundant, rumors had started circulating within the organization that there was a major restructuring program underway. And of course, we were all worried. We did not know at that point who was going to be affected or even how they were going to decide who would be declared redundant. Unfortunately, my name was on that list, and when I got that letter, it was not the right time for me to get that letter. So this is what had happened. 1 month before I got that redundancy letter, I had just lost my father. You can imagine how I felt. I had barely recovered from the pain of losing my father. Those of you who have been following my story know that I am the firstborn. So when my father passed away, all of a sudden I had taken on some responsibilities because I still had 3 brothers and sisters who were still in school. It was kind of expected of me to assist my mom, to help her financially so that my 3 siblings would be able to complete school. I will never forget that day when I came to work. It was a usual day. Apart from the rumors that were circulating in the organization, nobody had approached me and told me, I'm afraid, Lucy, you have been affected, or at the end of this month, we will give you that letter. So it was a complete shock. And this letter, I received it at 4:30. 4:30 is when we finished work. So you can imagine how I felt at 4:30 at the end of the day. I'm preparing to go home, and then I'm called in the office and I'm given that letter. It was obviously sealed in an envelope and I did not know the contents. The manager who handed me the letter just explained to me that it was unfortunate that I had been affected by the restructuring program, and kind of tried to explain to me that it was beyond their control and that these were guidelines that they had received from the Human Resources Department. To be honest, I don't even know how I left that office. I was devastated. My world crashed yet again. Don't forget that a month ago I had just lost my dad, and now the only source of income, the only thing that would probably try and make me recover, that is in terms of having a stable income, looking after my brothers and sisters and also my mom, had just been taken away from me. The pain I felt on that day, I can express it in this way. Do you know when you have a wound that is just beginning to heal, like the skin is trying to grow and the pain is kind of going away, then you rub that wound against, say, a wooden surface. So that pain, I felt a lot of pain on that day. I felt like somebody had put a knife in my heart and twisted it. It was a very, very painful experience. No amount of words can express it. I think it was close to the feeling and the pain I underwent the day I lost my dad. And of course, when I got that letter, I was very angry at this organization. Looking back now, I kind of understand that as an organization, I'm sure they have plans and they have timelines where they expect to execute things like the redundancies. Probably that was the time they had said, at the end of this month we are going to let so many people go. I must admit I was very disappointed with my employer. They knew very well I had just lost a parent, and I kept telling myself, how inhuman can these people be? I come back to work 1 month after I have lost my father, and the best they can do is declare me redundant. But like I have said, when I look back now, I understand probably they had to start rolling out that program and letting people go. However, at that moment in time, I was really angry. I was very disappointed with my employer. I felt like they had just ripped my heart into two, put in a knife and turned the knife in my heart. It was really painful. I went home that day and I cried like I have never cried in my life. And I felt that they were very insensitive. Even if they had planned to roll out their restructuring program, they should have, on humanitarian grounds, given me at least 1 or 2 more months to settle and then give me that letter. So you can imagine how I felt. I had barely recovered from that massive loss of my father, and then on top of that, somebody just decided, I am going to give her this letter and declare her redundant. However, looking back now, I am older and wiser, and I give them that benefit of doubt that probably they had made their plans, they had a timeline where they had expected to start declaring people redundant, and really they just had to go by their timelines. So I now respect that. As I went home that day, I could not stop thinking about all of the sudden misfortunes that had started following me. Number one, I had just lost my father less than a month ago, and now I had been given a letter making me redundant. And on top of that, I had recently become a single parent. Having no source of income was going to be a very big challenge for me. I got home, opened the letter, and the letter stated that unfortunately I had been affected by the restructuring program, and that they were going to give me a 1-month notice, and at the end of that month they were officially going to let me go. So this meant I had to work for a month before I could officially be declared redundant. That 1-month notice was a very painful affair. You can imagine walking into the office you shared with your colleagues, and none of them had received the letter. So I kind of felt like I had been targeted. I was the odd one out. I lost my confidence. I felt out of place, and I kept asking myself, am I not a good worker? And so that closeness in the department all of a sudden disappeared because I felt out of place. I felt people were feeling sorry for me, and basically I just felt odd and awkward. My colleagues were very supportive during this time, and most of them encouraged me and told me everything is going to be all right. When one door closes, another door will open. They were very encouraging, and they said to me, you just never know what the future holds for you, and probably you are going to find yourself a better job. And basically they just tried to cheer me up. However, it is easy for you to tell somebody it's going to be all right when you're not in that situation. So I did appreciate their comfort and encouragement, but at the end of the day, as the one who had been made redundant, I did not know where I was going to start or what the future held for me. So my last day finally arrived, and it was time for me to say bye to my colleagues. I must admit they were very good people, and they were full of encouragement. They told me, go out there, you do not know what is around the corner, you never know what tomorrow brings. So they comforted me as much as they could. And then it was time for me to go. And as I said bye to them, my mind was full of so many questions. Where will my rent come from? How will I feed my little one and myself? Then I had my brothers and sisters and my mom to think about. And I found myself in Nairobi without a job. So basically, this was the beginning of my nightmare. So join me in my next video to find out what happened to me in Nairobi. And we all know how difficult life can be in a city if you do not have a source of income. So join me next time to find out what happened to me and where I ended up after being made redundant. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.